namely immediately about the title, disarming. I read terms like rethinking, reconceptualizing, locomotion as well. What do you mean by that? And what do you mean by disarming?
Disarming for me, it's a performative exploration of the relation between this robotic arm being detached, the environment being here, but also us as an observer. And when working with robotic arms, it usually starts by they are using conceptualized as an extension to a technological body or to a human body. We use them as tools, but at the same time we automate them with artificial intelligence, and I think this opens the question on how we want to relate with them and how we could explore or find different narrations with robotics as well as artificial intelligence controlled robotics. And here I see this exploration as a detachment of a robotic arm, but at the same time I try to play with this ambiguity of emotional attachment. So it becomes autonomous, it tries to learn to locomote, it tries to distance itself from where it is now. But at the same time, it doesn't know very much about our connotation of it, and it doesn't know everything about this very physical space. So it's an open exploration. And when looking back at, for example, how Greek philosophers tried to define artificial life, they were talking about automata and being something self-moving. And from this definition, you could say it's already some kind of artificial life, but the definition of artificial life changed a lot throughout history. And I wouldn't say it's the right definition for today, but I think it opens a nice bridge towards what we project in here.
If I understand it correctly, you are actually trying to make this robot, in a way, act so that we think differently.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because, like in this, robot is translated as some worker, some forced labor, some machine doing labor, and arm is a body part. So it's a performative exploration of getting rid of the arm part, but at the same time I'm using this machine in cultural labor to reconnotate for us looking at it. So it definitely doesn't get rid of the robots within robotic arm. And I think that's also a very interesting play, because in that way it criticizes our anthropocentric way of naming it an arm, but at the same time it doesn't allow us to go out of it.
So you still see it as an arm?
No, I try to find different narrations beyond that of an arm.
Yeah. What did you do actually to this arm to make it do what it does? Like, did you program this, or what does it do?
So it's a robotic arm like used in industry, in car industry or in electronic industry. So it has like 6 axes, and the only thing I defined is how quick it moves and how far the axis can move. And the other parts are explored by a machine learning system, a reinforcement learning system. And this develops the locomotion throughout the performance. So I don't know where it will develop within the next hours.
Okay.
It could develop a very different motion language today than it would develop tomorrow.
Okay. So that's why you are very afraid before it might throw the camera.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah, okay.
It's also for me, also like, I think on one hand I got a little bit more detached from the robots, like in the previous artworks, but at the same time it's hard to predict where it will move. Yeah. So it changes. It's also for me interesting to explore this relation.
And this exploration, do you have some kind of mission also an intellectual mission with that, or like what is your mission behind this kind of explorations? Why are you so interested in these kind of explorations?
For me, I think what is interesting is we are living with a lot of technology. Artificial intelligence and robotics are evolving quite quickly, and they are affecting the way how we perceive.
Yeah.
They are taking different roles within our society, but at the same time I have the feeling that we don't have this plurality of narratives.
Okay.
So we don't have enough reference points on how we could relate with robotics, or what kind of role it could find in a society. So with my artworks I try to make experiences bodily experienceable, and getting an awareness on what we project and what is really there, and observing also ourselves within such a situation.
Interesting. So, in a way, if I may formulate it,
because I think all of the notions, like we know there's a lot of movies where robots are taking several roles. But I think it's something very differently because it's such a bodily machine. To really experience it with our own body, to be in the same physical space, and to experience an interaction that does not allow us to fully control the machine, but having this open interaction.
Would you call this a form of artificial intelligence already?
I think I would say machine learning. Okay. I don't like the term intelligence. I don't like the term artificial, but it's the terms we are using quite often.
In public. Yeah.
In public, yes.
Because you put quite an emphasis on the embodiment of machine learning in this case, right?
Yeah, but true. But yeah, as you can see here, you have a robotic arm here, but it's not clear where the entity ends. The cable runs over there, so some locomotions are calculated over there, and then there is a computer where the machine learning system is running. So it has this digital layer, but is very physically present. Okay. And you cannot really take it apart, which is also very interesting because through learning locomotions, you have the feeling it gets autonomous, but at the same time, it could not exist without, or could not move without electricity.
Yeah. So the hidden systems.
So it's getting independent, but still connected on this very resource layer, but also on a lot of our other layers.
Could you tell a bit more about that as well, like how you put this performance in the larger context of your project?
So I'm doing a PhD in arts, so I'm doing several artistic projects iteratively in a row. And with the first project series, Doing Nothing with AI, I was specifically exploring how our perception is changing in parallel to digitalization. Yeah. So how our interpretation of motions is changing over time, and how a robotic system or robotic installation could learn to do nothing with us in parallel to how we are changing. In another work, I was specifically looking for into robotic motions and as a language for getting in contact or getting in exchange with an audience. And for this one, I'm more looking at the notion of a robotic arm. With future explorations, I might more work with also different environments and different contextualizations, but perhaps also like to invite the audience to roll or locomote with it on the ground.
Did you choose this yoga mat thing on purpose, and did you choose the slightly annoying sound on purpose, or did this emerge today?
In previous iterations, I used a very, very different environment. Okay. But I on purpose tried to use an object that it used for learning how to use your body. And the sound just came in this exploration. And I amplified it a little bit by the choice of textile. And I think that is an important part, yes.
Yeah. I mean, this exhibition is about encounters, so we are encountering. It's very present at the moment.
It's very interesting because what you hear is this resistance.
Yeah.
And I just recently read this paper of transmaterialities and electrons, and atoms cannot touch each other, but what you hear is the resistance of electrons. So I think here, obviously there is my role within this performance, and I define the action space for this robotic machine learning system. So I do not use databases, so it starts from scratch, but I define the action space and also for example, maximum velocity. But so in a certain way, I restrict its autonomy, but in another way, also the way we move is not fully free. We need resources, we are bound to gravity, we have a body. So I think also our autonomy is entangled within a system. I think it's a matter of perspective. So I lately switched a lot to seeing everything we talked about it as a network or as a web. And depending on how you look on it, you see more clear entities or less. And also here, there is a digital layer on it. So the machine learning system learns in a digital layer, but in the end, I would say it is very physical on a hard disk or a GPU. So this end of systems, they do not have a clear end, but at the same time, we need to abstract them to talk about them. So I would, for having this discussion, I would say the system ends here, but it doesn't mean that it ends there.
Yes. How long did you leave it running for days? Like, what happens?
Actually, for this very setup, I didn't have it run longer than 1 hour. So I didn't try it. But in another very similar setting, I had it run for 3 months. We were afraid that it would crash the glass window, but it didn't. It learned to walk from time, to move forward, and at some point it happened that it was just twisting the last axis for 1 month. So it's like it was a continuous learning process, and I'm not in control of it, and then it took a twist and it continued that path. And as it's not my intention to optimize the machine learning setup or the virtual environment for learning, I'm more having this aim of then following or seeing where this could go, seeing it as a process. It was, I hope I answered it. Yeah, okay.
All right. Let's first give an applause to the arm.